Okay, I need you to stop what you're doing right now. Because this might be the single most relatable, chaotic, and somehow triumphant story I have ever read on Reddit. And I read a lot of Reddit. This comes from the subreddit r/tifu. Today I fouled up, and the title alone almost broke me. Quote, I fouled up by confronting my neighbor about his leaf blower and accidentally becoming a neighborhood legend. This is not a flex. I am mortified. End quote. Already I am invested. Let's get into it. So our narrator starts by telling us their hands are literally shaking as they type this. And once you hear the full story, you'll understand why. For 14 months, 14, not 1, not 2, 14, they've been silently suffering. Every single Saturday, 7:15 in the morning, their neighbor, who they are calling Dave because, and I love this detail, that is his name, and I am done protecting him. Dave fires up his leaf blower. But not just any leaf blower. An industrial-grade leaf blower. This person describes it as sounding like a 747 landing in the driveway. And look, context matters here because our narrator has a 4-month-old baby. They work night shifts at a hospital. They are, by their own estimate, running on approximately 11 minutes of sleep. 11 minutes. And every Saturday morning, without fail, Dave and his aircraft engine leaf blower are right there to make sure those 11 minutes come to a grinding halt. Now, for 14 months, they kept telling themselves to be the bigger person. Community matters. Keep the peace. All of that internal reasoning happening while lying awake at 7:15 a.m., wanting, and this is their phrase, to dissolve into the mattress. I feel that in my soul. But then, this particular Saturday morning, something snapped. They walked over. In their bathrobe. Their wife, watching from the doorway, apparently said, "Honey, don't." And our narrator, again in a bathrobe, sleep-deprived, 4-month-old at home, running on fumes, don't.
Let me repeat that.
The wife said, "Honey, don't." They did not don't. So they walk up to Dave. And here's the first beautiful, comedic detail. Dave is a large man. Dave is wearing noise-canceling earmuffs, while operating a machine that is also designed to cancel noise. So our narrator just stands there, in the bathrobe, waiting for a solid 45 seconds, while Dave methodically blows 3 leaves from one side of his driveway to the other. 3 leaves. 45 seconds. Industrial-grade equipment. Dave finally notices them, turns off the blower, takes off the earmuffs, looks at this person standing in their bathrobe at 7:15 on a Saturday morning. And before our narrator can say a single word, Dave says, "Oh, hey, you must be the husband. Your wife brings the best cookies to the block association. Good woman. I want you to sit with that for a second." That is the energy Dave brought to this confrontation. Completely unbothered. Genuinely friendly. Complimenting the cookies. And that is apparently what broke something loose in our narrator's brain because they describe what happened next as blacking out a little. And when they came back to themselves, they were apparently mid-speech about the Geneva Convention, referring to the leaf blower as acoustic warfare. Gesturing at the machine like they were presenting evidence in a courtroom. They used the word habituation. They do not fully remember doing this. They just know it happened because by the time they finished, 3 other neighbors had come outside to watch. And one of them started slow clapping.
Slow clapping.
Our narrator says, and I quote, "I wanted to die." Now here's where the story takes a genuinely sweet turn because Dave, big, noise-canceling earmuff wearing, cookie complimenting Dave, actually apologized. He said he never realized anyone could hear it. Apparently his wife had also been on him about it. He shook our narrator's hand and told them they had real guts. They went back inside. The wife was crying laughing. She had watched the whole thing from the window, and she informed them that at one point, as part of the argument, they had pointed directly at the sun. Nobody knows why, including our narrator. Now it's been 4 hours. The leaf blower has not gone off. The baby is asleep. Someone apparently even sent over a casserole. It's mentioned at the end almost as an afterthought, which means somewhere in this chaos a neighbor decided this person deserved a home-cooked meal, and honestly, they earned it. By every measurable outcome, this was a success. Conflict resolved. Neighbor apologetic. Baby sleeping.
Casserole obtained.
Neighborhood legend status. Unlocked. And yet, our narrator cannot stop thinking about the part where they said habituation. The post ends with an edit that just says, "This was Saturday. I thought you should know what kind of shape I'm in." I have read this story 3 times now, and that edit gets me every single time. Look, I think what makes this so deeply funny and so deeply human is that we have all been that person. Maybe not in a bathrobe invoking the Geneva Convention at 7 in the morning, but we've all reached that point where the thing we've been quietly tolerating for way too long finally gets the very unhinged response it probably deserved. The sleep deprivation, the new baby, the night shifts, the 14 months of patience, all of it compressed into one dissociative episode in a neighbor's driveway, featuring courtroom gestures and unexplained sun pointing. And it worked. It somehow completely worked. The leaf blower is silent. The baby sleeps. There is a casserole. The word habituation has been spoken aloud to a large man named Dave at 7:15 on a Saturday morning, and nothing will ever be the same. So here's what I want to know from you. What would you have done? Would you have knocked on the door after month 1? Sent a polite note? Suffered in silence for 14 months like a reasonable but increasingly unhinged adult? Or would you have eventually snapped and started citing international humanitarian law in your bathrobe? Drop a comment and let me know. And if this story made your day even a little bit better, smash that subscribe button because I've got daily Reddit stories that are just as wild as this one. Don't miss them.